Hi, I'm Dawn from the Boonshoff Museum of Discovery. Thanks for joining me today. I have a few friends from our Discovery Zoo that I'd like you to meet. This is Bob. He's a Madagascar hissing cockroach. I also have one of his friends. Her name is Bernadette. She's also a Madagascar hissing cockroach. I like to think of these cockroaches as being fancy cockroaches. A lot of people actually keep them as pets, and I'll explain a little bit about them and why people are so interested in cockroaches. But if you tuned in yesterday, you probably remembered I talked a little bit about bones, and specifically bones being inside of our bodies. Now, insects, like Bob here, are very different from us in that they don't have bones inside of their body. Instead, they have hard shells on the outside of their body. We call those exoskeletons. Sometimes I like to remember that by thinking they're hard on the outside and gooey on the inside. That might help you as well. It's kind of funny anyway. But Bob here, I mentioned, is an insect. And insects are special animals that have 3 body segments. So, this might be kind of difficult to see, but he has a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. Now, it's kind of hard to see back here, but obviously his head is the location where his eyes and his antennae are. His thorax is where his legs are attached. He has 3 pairs of legs, so 6 total, and then he has his abdomen. Now, the interesting thing about Madagascar hissing cockroaches is that they have special holes on their abdomen called spiracles that help them to breathe. But this particular insect, I mentioned they hiss, and they use those spiracles to produce that hiss by pushing air through those holes. So when you get hundreds of these Madagascar hissing cockroaches all together and they're all hissing, well, if you're a predator looking for your next meal, you're probably going to be kind of scared off, because hundreds of these Madagascar hissing cockroaches hissing all at once is probably going to startle you, and you're going to fly or run or get away as fast as you can. Now, the other use for these hisses from these cockroaches is basically a kind of a reproductive strategy. The males will fight and they hiss to scare each other off. So if you hiss more, you may be able to mate more, okay? Now, you may say, Madagascar, where is that? Well, that's an island off the coast of Africa, so this is pretty far away. Now, you're also going to notice that these cockroaches don't have wings. A lot of cockroach species do. These do not. Primarily, you're going to find these on the forest floor, and they have a really important job. They're kind of like the trash collectors of the natural world. They eat just about everything. So living in a tropical environment like these particular insects do, there's a lot of plant material to eat. So they play an important role in getting rid of all of that material and making sure that it's decomposed. That's a really important job. They also serve as a really good food source for a lot of other types of animals. So that's another very important food source. Now, I'm going to put Bob back here, and I'm going to get Bernadette out. There we go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get Bob out as well for a side-by-side comparison. Now, you're going to notice Bob, here on your right, has 2 really large bumps on the back of his shell, while Bernadette does not. That's how I know Bob is a male and Bernadette is a female. See those bumps that Bob has? But Bernadette does not. The other really interesting thing, I'll put Bernadette back. She's getting a little upset. These insects have some special friends that live on them. You may not be able to see it very easily, but there are little teeny tiny mites that live on this particular insect. And you may say, why would mites want to live on an insect? Well, those mites kind of hitch a ride, and they help keep this particular insect clean by eating lots of the food particles that get stuck all over their body. Because remember, these animals are eating lots of rotting fruit and vegetable matter. So those mites help to keep the cockroaches clean. That's a pretty neat setup. Well, I hope you enjoyed meeting some of our friends today. We're going to come back next Tuesday with some more animals for you to meet. And be sure to tune in this weekend where you'll get a chance to observe some of our animals in the zoo over a long period of time to see how they behave behind the scenes. So thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.